Underneath the polished branding and the undeniable billionaire buzz that enveloped it, the Titan submersible wasn't just the vessel involved in a profound tragedy. It stands as a stark blueprint for precisely how not to approach the formidable challenge of exploring the deep ocean. While global headlines understandably focused on the horrifying finality of the implosion, the real, more intricate story runs significantly deeper. From persistently overlooked expert warnings to a series of truly baffling and unconventional design choices, what ultimately transpired on the unforgiving ocean floor is, in fact, only a fragment of the total, devastating fallout. And there's one specific, critical decision, made years before that final, fateful dive, that might fundamentally change how you perceive this entire disaster. This isn't merely a story about isolated engineering failure. It is, more profoundly, a cautionary tale about what can occur when unchecked ambition dramatically outpaces responsible accountability, and when the seductive allure of marketing hype effectively silences prudent, necessary hesitation. The Titan submersible disaster, as emerging details suggest, is in many crucial ways far worse than most people initially thought, and the complete, unvarnished truth, it seems, is still far from being fully surfaced. Dear viewers, before continuing this video, we kindly ask you to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, if you want to receive notifications about new video releases, please hit the bell icon. Thank you for your understanding. Stockton Rush, the charismatic CEO of OceanGate, consistently positioned the Titan submersible as a revolutionary leap in deep-sea exploration, yet his public safety assurances starkly contrasted with the vessel's experimental and uncertified nature. His oft-quoted claim, "It's safer than crossing the street," aimed to reassure high-paying clients embarking on the $250,000 journey to the Titanic wreck, despite the Titan operating outside recognized marine safety norms. Rush was openly disdainful of industry safety regulations, viewing them as bureaucratic hurdles that stifled innovation. He admitted in 2021 to breaking design rules, believing risk was integral to progress, a philosophy that became a branding tool. OceanGate's promotions emphasize Titan's unique design while downplaying its experimental classification. While clients signed waivers acknowledging the lack of certification, it's unclear if they fully grasped the assumed risks. Behind Rush's confident salesmanship, which blended technical jargon with alluring promises of adventure, former employees and industry experts alleged an internal culture that discouraged dissent regarding safety, prioritizing image and marketability over transparency. This carefully crafted illusion of security may have tragically contributed to one of modern maritime history's most avoidable disasters. The polished pitch masked dangers inherent in Titan's very design from its inception. The Titan's structural design significantly departed from established deep-sea engineering standards, raising alarms long before its final dive. Unlike conventional submersibles built with solid metal hulls, steel or titanium, OceanGate controversially used carbon fiber reinforced with resin for Titan's main pressure vessel. Carbon fiber, while lightweight and strong under certain stresses, is not typically used for extreme depths due to its unpredictable behavior under repeated compressive forces, risking delamination, layer separation that weakens the hull with each dive. Another critical flaw was the hull's cylindrical shape. Most deep divers are spherical to evenly distribute immense pressure. Cylinders, however, face uneven load distribution, increasing failure likelihood at the Titanic's depth of 3,800 meters. This likely created weak points, especially where the carbon fiber hull met titanium end rings, inherently vulnerable interfaces. Furthermore, the viewport window was a point of contention. OceanGate allegedly requested a flat window from manufacturer Hydrospace Group for wider passenger views, against Hydrospace's recommendation for a domed or conical design for such depths. Hydrospace reportedly refused to qualify the flat window for extreme conditions without rigorous testing, which apparently never occurred to industry standards. Titan proceeded with this uncertified window, adding another critical vulnerability. These design choices, prioritizing novelty and customer experience over proven safety engineering, rendered the Titan fundamentally unfit for repetitive operations at extreme depths, forming the basis of what many experts now deem a preventable catastrophe. As early as 2018, multiple industry experts voiced grave concerns about Titan's safety, culminating in a formal letter to Stockton Rush, signed by figures like William Conan of the Marine Technology Society's Manned Underwater Vehicles Committee. The letter warned that OceanGate's approach posed potentially catastrophic risks due to its uncertified design and deviation from industry norms. These warnings were largely dismissed by OceanGate as overly cautious. Internally, alarms were also sounded. David Lockridge, OceanGate's former director of marine operations, highlighted structural weaknesses, including issues with the viewport, the carbon fiber hull, and inadequate testing documentation. After submitting a critical safety report, Lockridge was terminated. The ensuing legal dispute underscored a pattern within OceanGate. Dissent, even from technical experts, was not tolerated if it threatened operational timelines. The 2023 disaster was not the first indication of trouble. A 2022 dive reportedly ended with a loud bang as the submersible surfaced, an event OceanGate attributed to a minor frame shift. However, engineers now speculate this could have been an early sign of hull degradation. Despite this and other reports of unusual vessel behavior, there's no public record of comprehensive post-incident inspections or testing. This pattern suggests a conscious decision to prioritize mission schedules over addressing expert advice and empirical warnings, likely driven by financial and reputational pressures, leading to a systemic failure in risk management. In early 2025, the U.S. Coast Guard released a 23-second audio recording captured by a NOAA passive acoustic monitoring device, believed to be the sound of the Titan's catastrophic failure. This recording, detected roughly 900 miles from the Titanic site, showed ambient underwater noise followed by a brief, soft boom, the acoustic signature of a deep-sea implosion. Experts explained the sharp, sudden sound, its frequency, short duration, and lack of echo indicated a rapid structural collapse in milliseconds, not a gradual failure. This civilian source audio corroborates earlier, classified U.S. Navy hydroacoustic data that also detected sounds consistent with an implosion shortly after the Titan was reported missing. While the audio confirms the suddenness of the collapse, it doesn't pinpoint the initial failure point, be it the carbon fiber hull, the viewport, or a dissimilar material joint. Investigators remain cautious, stating the exact cause requires further forensic evidence from recovered wreckage. The release of this audio, however, supports the theory of a sudden, catastrophic failure and raises questions about whether such real-time monitoring could be used for future mission warnings or immediate accountability. At the Titanic's depth of nearly 3,800 meters, the pressure is about 380 times that at sea level, equating to over 5,500 pounds per square inch. Any vessel in this environment requires flawless engineering. When a failure occurs, the resulting implosion is instantaneous and devastating. Simulations and expert testimony suggest Titan's implosion completed in 20 to 40 milliseconds, faster than the human brain registers pain. The pressure hull would have collapsed inward violently, superheating the internal air in a flash, destroying everything inside before the passengers could comprehend their fate. Marine engineers state it's highly improbable the occupants sensed fear or pain. Death was virtually instantaneous. While grim, this detail offers a sliver of grim comfort regarding their final moments. This understanding of physics underscores the immense responsibility of deep-sea vessel designers. There is no margin for error, no room for unverified experiments with human lives. Losing structural integrity at such depths means no possibility of rescue, no survival window. Only milliseconds separate normal operation from complete obliteration. A chilling precursor to the 2023 tragedy occurred in 2019 during a test dive of an early Titan prototype. Carl Stanley, a veteran submersible operator, joined Stockton Rush for a dive off the Bahamas, reaching depths over 3,760 meters. Stanley reported hearing unsettling cracking and popping noises from the hull, which he likened to the carbon fiber breaking. He voiced grave concerns to Rush afterward, warning that these sounds suggested serious structural issues and that continued use of such a hull could lead to disaster. Stanley also stated he wouldn't have dived had he known the prototype had reportedly been struck by lightning prior to the test. These warnings did not halt Titan's development. OceanGate built a new hull for the operational Titan, but reportedly reused other components from the problematic prototype, essentially proceeding with only a partial redesign. Subsequent Titan operations also saw reports from other users of strange acoustic events, like loud bangs and creaks, now believed to be further signs of material fatigue. This 2019 prototype dive provided empirical evidence of design flaws, yet OceanGate pressed on, raising profound questions about leadership judgment and technical oversight, suggesting the final tragedy was tragically preventable. Behind OceanGate's high-priced expeditions lay a company struggling with significant financial strain. Internal testimonies and reports from former employees indicate OceanGate operated on a tight budget, with the high costs of deep-sea missions often exceeding revenue. Amber Bahi, Director of Administration, testified that she and Stockton Rush sometimes delayed their own salaries to keep the company solvent. This instability meant OceanGate became increasingly reliant on deposits from future clients to fund ongoing operations, a risky model. According to a former director of engineering, Phil Brooks, these cash flow problems led to decisions prioritizing speed and publicity over comprehensive safety testing, stating safety was being compromised way too much. Dives were allegedly approved with unresolved issues, upgrades delayed, and essential certifications, like for the viewport window, were ignored or deferred. The company's refund policy, rebooking clients for canceled dives rather than offering full refunds, may have exacerbated this pressure, increasing the backlog of obligations and the push to complete dives even if the vessel wasn't fully ready. This financial duress likely made it difficult to maintain adequate safety margins without compromising perceived business continuity, a dangerous compromise in the extreme risk environment of deep-sea exploration. A key enabler of OceanGate's controversial operations was its ability to conduct dives in international waters, largely beyond the reach of national maritime regulatory bodies. Launched from a Canadian-flagged vessel in the North Atlantic, Titan avoided mandatory safety inspections and certifications typically enforced in territorial waters. OceanGate was aware that conventional classification societies like DNV or the American Bureau of Shipping would not certify Titan due to its experimental design, particularly its carbon fiber hull. Instead of meeting these standards, the company opted for a self-certification model, asserting its internal testing was sufficient. This directly contradicted industry norms requiring rigorous third-party review for manned submersibles operating at such depths. Critics argue OceanGate exploited this legal ambiguity. William Conan, chair of the Marine Technology Society's Manned Underwater Vehicles Committee, stated Titan would not have been permitted to launch under U.S. jurisdiction. This situation highlights a troubling blind spot in maritime governance. The lack of a global enforcement framework for commercial deep-sea activities involving human passengers, forcing a reckoning with current, easily bypassed regulatory frameworks. Among the most sobering aspects of the Titan disaster are the accounts of individuals who, due to instinct or unresolved safety concerns, declined to join the ill-fated dive. Investor Jay Bloom revealed Stockton Rush had personally invited him and his son, offering a significant discount and downplaying risks with phrases like "safer than helicopter rides." Despite the pressure, Bloom backed out, stating, "Something didn't sit right." Others were reportedly put off by the extensive waiver, acknowledging the risk of death multiple times, Titan's lack of certification, or the use of a gaming controller for steering. While Rush framed these as innovative, many saw them as red flags. These life-saving hesitations underscore how intuition and skepticism can be vital safeguards when formal regulation is absent. Their stories reframe the tragedy not just as a technological failure, but as a case study in how unchecked ambition and persuasive marketing can dangerously intersect in high-risk ventures. In the wake of the Titan disaster, accountability remains a central issue. Though OceanGate is no longer operational, legal fallout continues, with victims' families exploring civil lawsuits, citing negligence and failure to disclose safety risks. The company's extensive waivers complicate these efforts, but gross negligence or willful misconduct, if proven, could overcome them. Government agencies, led by the U.S. Coast Guard in partnership with Canadian and UK bodies, convened a joint Marine Board of Investigation. Public hearings with experts and former employees are providing insights into the vessel's operational approval, or lack thereof, and systemic failures. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board is also conducting an independent investigation and is expected to issue safety recommendations concerning commercial submersible regulations, risk disclosure for extreme tourism, and international marine safety collaboration. Industry bodies like the Marine Technology Society are advocating for global standards for passenger-carrying submersibles, citing Titan as a prime example of regulatory avoidance. The Titan implosion may catalyze stricter governance for deep-sea tourism, pushing for international frameworks to close the loophole that allowed an experimental, uncertified vessel to carry passengers to such extreme depths. Lawmakers in multiple countries are reviewing maritime tourism laws, considering mandatory third-party certification and tighter liability rules. For the victims' families, while regulation won't bring full closure, it offers hope of preventing similar tragedies born from gambling with human lives in the name of adventure. As this video wraps up, we'd like to remind you to like and subscribe to our channel. Your support is vital for our channel's growth and helps us keep creating content. To be notified about new videos, remember to hit that bell icon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.